Hidden among the cliffs of northern Ethiopia lies an ancient church. Carved into a towering cliff over 1,500 years ago, inside, it holds some of humanity's earliest relics. Well, at least that's the story we've been told. As it lies deep in one of Ethiopia's most conflict-ridden regions, we couldn't help to wonder, was there more in it than just that? We would have to climb 800 feet with no shoes, no ropes, and no safety. Welcome to Abune, Yemata. Now, this story doesn't necessarily start off as a happy one. After spending 3 weeks in Ethiopia, there was one place everyone told us not to go.
Tigray,
a region in the north that has been in a brutal civil war for years. Tensions between the Tigray leaders and the federal government have been building for years, and it all came to a boiling point in November 2020. When Tigray's People's Liberation Front attacked a federal military base. This set off a 2-year war with the Ethiopian and Eritrean forces launching a massive offensive attack. This war led to hundreds of thousands of deaths, and some reports estimate the casualties could be as high as 600,000, including horrific war crimes against the Tigrayan civilians. Today, things are relatively peaceful. In November 2022, both sides agreed to a ceasefire, officially ending the war. But even now, the region faces multiple sanctions and shortages of essential supplies. But the reason I came here isn't just to see the people and understand the reality of this conflict, but it's to explore Tigray itself. In an area surrounded by so much chaos, it is also home to so much beauty. Headlines will only mention the conflict, but this region is filled with so much history dating back to some of the earliest human civilizations, including what I'm here to visit. One of the most dangerous churches in the world, Abune Yemata, carved straight into the side of an 800-foot cliff and standing as one of the highest altitude places of worship. This is one of the earliest Orthodox churches in Ethiopia, dating back 1,500 years ago. To enter, you must climb with no ropes, no shoes, and no safety gear. While there may be churches higher in the mountains around the world, none are more difficult to reach than this one. Although the past few weeks were filled with scorching hot heat and dry weather, arriving in Tigray was quite different. It was green and mountainous. It had almost felt like we landed in Italy. And right away, we received a warm welcoming. But after exploring the town for a bit, we decided to call it a night, because tomorrow, we had a big day ahead of us. Okay, we just woke up at our place, and we're about to start our journey to the church. And it's about a 30-minute drive from here, and then we have to hike all the way up. So it's gonna be interesting.
we're going to be coming back to...
This is Mark, a new friend of ours that we had met on one of our recent trips. Mark moved here about 20 years ago after falling in love with Ethiopia and its people, and now he runs a tour company showcasing its beauty and history to as many other people as possible.
Behind there? We're going to go around the edge here, and it's up on a cliff face that's running in that direction.
Okay.
That's why, like, early morning, it's kind of a bit in the shadow, I think.
It's kind of funny because literally like just a few days ago we were in one of the hottest places on earth, and now I'm wearing a sweater and we're only like a few hundred kilometers away from that area. We went from 40 degrees Celsius weather to 15 degrees. I think it's gonna get warmer today, because I hope so, because I'm kind of freezing, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of got used to that heat.
As we started driving again, those mountains far off in the distance we were just told we would have to climb started getting bigger and bigger.
All right, we have made it to what you could call the base camp, where we stop driving and we start hiking. It's a long journey somewhere up there.
To where the sun's just coming in the gap between, the low gap between, and the church is round on the backside, and the backside has a completely vertical drop-off.
Wow. Right. Now the climb has officially begun. Okay, just arrived at our first rest spot. Man, that was a lot of stairs.
As this was supposed to be the easy part, we quickly realized climbing these stairs is going to be much harder than we thought, as we started 2,000 meters above sea level. But saying that, you couldn't deny the beauty here.
Okay, we've reached the point where we stopped using the stairs and have to start climbing.
We'll get to the point up here where we take our shoes off, where we enter sacred earth. That's where the real climb starts.
The dogs are officially out. Let's go.
Coming down this board.
What's up here?
Human remains
Human remains.
in here. So for some people have led a hermit life here, and they're buried here. But also in the old times, before they built these churches down in the lowlands, there were just these rock churches. So they brought people's bodies here to bury them here from the surrounding area. But even because this area was so famous and had its rock churches from other parts of Ethiopia, many days walk away, they might bring people, so the legends say, bring people here to bury them.
Yeah. And they go to heaven?
And they go to heaven. This is a fast route elevator.
As we stopped here at the top, I couldn't help but to wonder how all those years ago would they have carved a church up here.
Perfect. Yeah, grab that. Thank you. Thanks. Let's go.
Come here, you can see there is a big cave. Look. It was from in here. This is one of the familiar grave, and they were put it at the beginning, and they becomes full and more people, and they put it. Look, some part of the body is not destroyed with the skin.
Yes. The skin is perfectly preserved. With the dry air sort of desiccated, but also it's believed, because the person is holy, that any disease or putrefaction or whatever didn't touch it, that it got preserved because of the holiness of the person and the place.
Wow. And then these stones, like, so they start at the bottom and then just start stacking for a bunch of bodies?
Looks like it. Jeez, I mean, if that's the case, how many human remains would be in here? It's 1,000 years of people being buried here. Quite staggering, huh? So this is the baptism cave, huh? Boys are baptized at 40 days old and girls at 80 days old. And they're brought up here. You see the cotton shawl that the priest is wearing here. The women would wrap that around their baby, tie it up, carry them on their back up the cliff, and bring them up here early in the morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning, to baptize them.
So what Mark is explaining here is back in the 17th century, Ethiopians began expanding in the lowlands, and churches started to become much more common down below. But before that, mothers would wrap their newborns around them in white shawls and walk sometimes days just to reach Abune Yemata. Then they would have to make the treacherous climb up the cliff that we just did, just to baptize their babies at the top. To them, bringing their child closer to God literally meant climbing towards the heavens. And for me, bringing that story to life is incredibly powerful. But obviously, I can't go back in time and film it. That's why today I use Artlist's brand new AI text-to-video feature where I just type in a prompt, get a photo, and if I like it, I can turn that into a 10-second video. They even have this cool little button that enhances your prompt, helping you to get even better results. Features like these keep me on my toes and help me keep innovating. Anyways, back to the video.
So this is the church right here we're going to.
Yeah, this is it, right?
There's one last walk. I just did it. Ian doesn't know, but you only have one chance at this walk, okay? It's not like you can do it again now.
Wow. How did they build this up here?
Inside, we were surrounded by ancient artwork, most of it showing scenes from the Bible and the 9 saints. They were all painted using simple materials from land all around us. Yet somehow, they've never needed to be restored.
This is 600 years.
600?
6th century, at the same church.
The Bible, this one, is even 6th century book.
At the same church.
Very
1,500 years old. This one, the book, very old. This is goat skin, not paper. This is
Goat skin?
yes, goat skin. Yes, this is geese, Brahma, geese language.
Whether it had been the sheer age or the pure artistry that went into it, you could tell you were in the presence of something truly special.
This is very old, the brass.
That's 600 years.
Yeah.
Just a few moments later, we were lucky enough to witness and take part in a traditional liturgy as the priest recited prayers in Ge'ez, an ancient religious language, with the priest even blessing us at the end.
Wow. What an experience, man. I don't think I've ever experienced anything like this in my life. This is so beautiful.
This was truly an amazing experience. We spent the rest of the day climbing down and up other mountains, as Abune Yemata is not the only rock church in Tigray. There is said to be believed over 125 of them in the area, with many being closed off to the public. But all day I was stuck with the same feeling. With all this amazing history, how is it possible that many have never even heard of this place? Is it shadowed behind the conflict? Or is it really still just that unknown?
All right, we just made it on top of our third mountain today. I didn't film this one, I just tried to take it in for myself, but we have this beautiful house on top of this mountain that we're gonna stay at tonight for our last day, because this marks the end of my 1-month journey through Ethiopia. If you haven't seen it already, this is the third video of the series I've made here. We started in the south, visiting all the tribes, coming up to the north, going to the hottest place in the world, the Donegal Depression, and now climbing the highest church. So it's been a very eventful month, and I couldn't be more grateful, if I'm being honest. This has been an eye-opening experience. Coming to Africa for the first time has really put things into perspective for me. I mean, a lot of us watching this video don't realize that we've basically won the lottery just being born where we were born. I'm from Canada, and just having basic things like food on the table, running water, and a place to stay for the night is really not as common as you think around the world. When going through Ethiopia, we saw people living on volcanic rock where there was no water to be seen, no food, and just people living in the roughest parts of the world. Although they were some of the happiest people I've ever met in my life, I wish more people could see that just to see how good we have it. But that being said, this has been one of the best trips of my life, and I will be coming back to Africa for sure. This place has blown my mind.